What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat. Going live, have not talked about Tesla recently. I feel like I just haven't caught up with y'all. Want to just document, we've got a bunch of really interesting Tesla news coming out that I think is setting up. Tesla's been quiet for a while. So, when they're quiet for a while, they have some big stuff coming. Lots of clues about the Cybertruck specifically, the Cyberquad coming out for kids. We have Elon Musk saying in the context of the Cybertruck, he will be on the next quarterly earnings call. He wasn't on the last one, specifically to provide a product roadmap update. So this is big news in the Teslaverse. Also want to talk about FSD 4680. Just lots to catch up on with Tesla. Also, Elon selling billions in stock. But the stock is actually performing pretty well. Here's just Tesla stock to start out with. Although we did hit like 1,200, I still think the fact that we're over $1,000 a share, we have gone down a little bit recently, but the fact that we're over $1,000 a share and over $1 trillion market cap is still insane to me. So the stock is holding up really well despite a huge pullback in the NASDAQ, and specifically Elon Musk selling. I don't think people are realizing, like, I would have thought, first of all, actions speak louder than words. The fact that Elon's selling his stock now is interesting. The question of how much of this is because he wants to, or how much of this is he forced to sell it so that he can pay taxes on his options to actually increase his stake in the company. A very weird counterintuitive thing going on here. But despite the fact that Elon Musk has sold 10 billion of stock in the past couple of weeks, he's selling like $1 billion a day, and Tesla stock is still over $1,000 a share. It's still like showing tremendous strength, I would say, relative to what the market's doing. Has totally blown me away. I've been super duper impressed. The appetite and demand for Tesla stock is at all-time highs. So that's super exciting, and I've been impressed by that. So I want to just start there, but then really dive into the Cybertruck. So Tesla has taken off the Cybertruck pricing from their website. So initially, I personally have a reservation down for my Cybertruck, which I put down like shortly after the unveiling. During the unveiling, it's important to note the Cybertruck was supposed to be launched in Q4 of 2021. And so that would be like right now. Obviously, it's not launched. It's still looking like Q3, Q4 2022, a year from now. But I think the certainty that it's getting launched within a year is much higher than it was historically. So it sounds like it's delayed. Oh my gosh, it's not going to happen. No. They're making progress. I was just in Austin. The factory is going to be built. It's going to be amazing. They're going to wait to perfect the Cybertruck before delivering it. And it sounds like it's a huge amount of technology. So what, in classic Tesla fashion, they have all the pricing, $40,000 for the base model, up to $69,900, I believe, for the 500 plus mile variant, which is the one that I put $100 fully refundable deposit down for. In total, if we're talking about Cybertruck pre-orders, Tesla has done over 2 million Cybertruck pre-orders is the rumor. And just to put this in context, like, a product that is never launched, 2 million orders for a truck that's going to be $50,000 to $100,000. We're talking billions, tens of billions in pre-ordered revenue for a product that has never existed, that has never been driven. This is going to be like this deserves a spot in the auto industry Hall of Fame for just game-changing product market. And the fact that the media thought that this was a flop when it launched because of like the broken glass, and which turned out to be amazing press for the product. Like, the Cybertruck to me is one of the most crazy things to happen, and to see Tesla pivot their product roadmap to just something so bold and innovative. Like, I saw this really interesting article, I'll try and Google it, which is about brutalism and the Cybertruck and sort of like the frontier of new practical brutalist design. And I just love this. This is actually done by one of my friends who is a hyperchanger, I think. If I can show y'all this is just super cool. But this video about like sort of brutalist industrial design and how the Cybertruck is ushering in this new era of functional, practical, stainless steel. You don't need to worry about the paint. It's cheaper to produce. It's more durable. It's going to hold up to wear and tear super well, but it's also beautiful. It's striking. It's simple. It's going with minimalism. It looks like something that Apple in the future with a weird sort of dark twist could have came up with in their product development. Like, I just think the Cybertruck, this rendering is crazy too, right? In terms of ushering us into a new era of design. And when you look at the streets to see something that looks so different than you've ever seen before, like the Cybertruck, like, this is such a crazy, I'm nerding out obviously right now, but I just think this is, you can't understate like how much of an interesting just moment this is for design and for the automotive industry. And so I'm so unbelievably hyped for the Cybertruck. And I think it's getting closer than ever. Like the bottom line is Elon Musk would not be talking about it if it wasn't getting closer than ever to happening and coming out. And so my take on this whole like cyber quads coming out, they've taken off the pricing of this page, is we are getting within, you know, it's not like a month from the Cybertruck launch. It's not the 12/9 event that everyone's saying it's going to be, but we are getting close to this. They are de-risking it. The 4680 cell production, I guess I can do the update on that. 4680 cell production, it sounds like, has been improving. It's been ramping. They know how to make the 4680 in Kato. They can make a working cell. It's going to crush it. It's going to build an amazing truck, but it's about the economics of how do we build a machine that builds the batteries? How do we make that economical? And where do we stop the R&D line in Kato and say, okay, we know enough to build, to spend the tens of billions to put it in the Austin factory? Because that's what's happening right now, right? It's like we're testing it on all these small equipments, but now we're going to have to put down billions of dollars of capital expenditures to build out the battery production line in Austin for Model Y, for Cybertruck, for semi-truck, for every single future product that's the backbone of Tesla. And so at what point do you stop researching the machine that builds the machine and say, okay, this is it. We're good enough at the design. Let's invest in Austin. So I think that decision has been made. So in the background of Tesla, it's iterating at Kato Road on the 4680 production, and they've gotten it to a point where they're ready to put up the CapEx to put them. And I think when I was in Austin, actually, they were installing the equipment for the 4680 cell. So I literally think that's what's going on now, and that's why we're seeing Tesla sort of get ready from a consumer level to launch the Cybertruck, because on the back end, they're figuring out the manufacturing. They already know. They're already spending the money to make this come off the production line in Q3 or Q4 of next year. But so this is the Cybertruck landing page now. They have taken away all the cool stuff. Like, so you can still go to tesla.com/Cybertruck and like see this, right? They have all the cool stats, exoskeleton, but they've taken away like even like range, I think you can't find now, right? Which is super duper interesting. Love this video, performance and safety. But so, and then you click order now, and this is all that comes up. $100, fully refundable. Coming in 2022, very, very limited details. No details on range, no details on any of that stuff, which I'm frankly like, this is what I think is coming on the Q4 earnings call. So this is Elon Musk, who said product roadmap on the next earnings call. So I think he is going to take the time to update us on all of this. And if you look at how he responded to this, it was in context to the Cybertruck. So he was saying this initial tweet here, initial production will be 4-motor variant with independent ultra-fast response torque control of each wheel. And then could it turn like a tank? We'll have both front and rear wheel steer. So not just like a tank, it can drive diagonally like a crab. He also says, here's the 4-motor variant tweet, which I think is, we'll unpack that in a sec. But he also says it's a, quote, insane technology bandwagon. So Elon Musk hyping up how much new stuff is going into the Cybertruck, a new way to build the car, new battery in the car, new sort of quad motor. I don't even think Tesla has a quad motor car right now. 4-motor design like Rivian, so it can like move like a crab. All of this crazy new technology. And so what's interesting about this is originally Tesla had the single motor, dual motor, and tri-motor. Those were the 3 variants that you had for Cybertruck. And now Elon is saying, no, we're starting with a quad motor variant, which is crazy. I think it's a little bit because Rivian did that, so Tesla doesn't want to be like, oh, we're doing 3 when they have 4. Lucid's also doing 4. I don't know if it's a little bit of competition or just like functionality or margin. But my theory is it was 70 grand for the tri-motor. They're going to be charging about 80, 90 grand for this quad motor. You're going to be looking at 6 figures. If you want FSD, if you want the Cyber Quad, if you want a maxed out Cybertruck, you're looking at about 120, 130 Gs, basically a Model S Plaid, is my opinion. And I still think that would be an amazing product. And now the question of the Cybertruck is, how many can you sell? So I want to pull up the sales of the Ford right now, because I think this is super duper interesting. Also, there may have been music playing in the background. Oh no, you guys didn't hear that. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so the next earnings call, I see now I got your chat pulled up so you can chat with me if you want. The next earning call is about to be crazy because we're going to hear Elon give all the specs of the Cybertruck. Model 2, is there an unveiling date for the Model 2? What about FSD Beta? I just think there's going to be a lot of, I feel it, like Tesla hasn't announced anything new. I just kind of feel this like, this hold up of news till this moment, which is going to be dropped on the earnings call, where Elon is like, no, I want to make a point to be there because we have new stuff to say. So that's going to be really exciting. Okay, 12.9. I see the comments coming in about that. 12.9. This is, Tesla has gone, like, the Tesla community has gone ridiculous. So there's a theory, for those who don't know, 12.9. People are reading in between the lines on Elon Musk tweets to say he's been hinting at 12.9, which is also December 9th, where they're going to come out with some crazy announcement that was originally going to be a stock split, then it was going to be a SpaceX merger, then it's going to be the Cybertruck unveil. I'm here to tell you nothing is going to happen on 12.9. That's my theory. Like, it's all BS. I've been tweeting about it, just making up hype. I'm pretty sure half the people tweeting about it are just making up, perpetuating this BS theory when nothing matters. But this is one of the weirdest, funniest things of Tesla Twitter. Tesla Twitter has convinced itself of this conspiracy theory that there's a huge Tesla announcement on 12.9. I don't know, and I don't care. Like, frankly, it's like, who cares? What's going to matter? Like, we're thinking about the underlying intrinsic value of the business. What are they going to announce on 12.9 that's going to change that? Nothing. If they're going to announce something, it's something we already know. Berlin's opening. We already kind of knew that, you know? So I don't think anything's getting announced then. But I think this conference call is going to be a huge, huge deal. Okay, now I want to talk about the 10.5. So FSD Beta, I was just driving around FSD Beta with my friend today. 10.5 phantom braking issue. This is really interesting, not just because the phantom braking issue itself, but because of how new issues can pop up on FSD as they iterate. It's supposed to keep improving, but it's not linear. It's like, it's kind of like a stock price when you think about the improvement of FSD. So they've been rolling it out, they've been expanding it, but this new version of 10.5, like, I'm still not using it all the time. And this is just me being honest. Like, is the technology amazing? Yes. Is it incredible? Do I think they're ahead of the self-driving race? Do I think Tesla's pushing the most cutting edge AI project in the world that I think every engineer would be lucky to work on? Are they going to solve this? I'm leaning towards yes. But do I use FSD Beta today in my everyday life, not being a YouTube nerd, not being a Tesla nerd? No, because it just messes up too much. And then I get, like, annoyed, and then my friends are like, whoa, that was crazy. And I'm like, all right, I'll take over. You know, it's like, so I try and just keeping it real, but 10.5 has this new issue of phantom braking. So what that means is essentially I'm driving with the car, we're going great, it just went through the stoplight, there was all this stuff going on, it crushed it, stopped for the pedestrian, you know, avoided this car, didn't slow down too much, was going with the flow of traffic, amazing job for FSD, and then we're in the middle of a block, nothing's going on, and it just starts, and it's like, whoa, and it like slows down. And so that's a phantom brake. And so I've been noticing a lot of that phantom braking occurring in this new version of 10.5, and it's just made me think, like, this is so hard. Like, who knows why that popped up? Do they even know why the AI decided to do that? What's triggering a new thing? Because it wasn't phantom braking before, but now in this update it is. So I haven't gotten 10.6 yet, but it's very interesting to me that the way these problems pop up and just how difficult this is going to be to solve. And this is where I'm like, in my brain, I keep going like, Elon Musk, you know, actions speak louder than words. Is he selling stock because he thinks the stock is ridiculously priced? And he's already on the record tweeting that a lot of full self-driving is priced into the equity, despite the fact they have a long way to go towards solving that. You know, is Elon signaling that he thinks Tesla's overvalued by being willing to liquidate instead of taking debt against his Tesla stock to pay for his option exercise? There's a lot of underlying things there of Elon Musk is subtly saying, I want to deleverage my equity position, which is already on margin in Tesla right now, and exercise my options. Essentially, when it's all in all said and done, selling a bunch of equity to buy a bunch of options, Elon is net increasing his stake, but he could be increasing his stake more by accessing more leverage and borrowing against his bigger position. So the fact that he's not borrowing against his position, but is in fact liquidating, to me is actions speak louder than words, is an interesting thing. And I wonder if that ties into his underlying skepticism that FSD will be as solved as fast as the market thinks it will. Right? And so I'm just trying to unpack all of this. But my guess, I still think, I've been saying 2027, I think, for full self-driving to be solved. I still think that's a good number. For like legally, robo-taxis are working. Tesla's making billions of dollars in multiple geographies. We are taking autonomous cars. This is a part of the real economy. I genuinely think that's 2027. So let's see if you have any questions, let me know. Meanwhile, what else do I have to say here? I don't know. The phantom braking thing is legit. And then it's interesting because this whole chip shortage thing, people are expecting a really strong quarter from Tesla deliveries, but I wonder if Elon Musk saying they're not going to do the delivery wave means Tesla is sort of optimizing for not maximum production, but maximum profitability this quarter, which is an interesting twist. But I gotta say, like, the Cybertruck, the Cyber Quad, the Cyber Whistle, like, oh my, I just gotta pull up the Cyber Whistle because this is just ridiculous. The amount of free marketing that Tesla gets, like, this is why, to me, Tesla is just so ahead of the game. Oh my God, no way. Okay, this is selling for $300 on eBay right now. Check this out. The Cyber Whistle is selling for $200 or $300 on eBay. I bought 3 for $50. First of all, karma, because all of you were like, Gally, you bought 3. There's none for the rest of us. I accidentally shipped them to my old apartment in New York where I don't live. Tesla ships them there. I've sent them 2 emails. They haven't replied. Now my Cyber Whistles are in New York. I don't even know. I can't even figure out how to call my doorman. So I spent money on 3 Cyber Whistles. I'm getting none of them. So I know that's going to make some people feel better, but this is just ridiculous to me. And I think it's kind of like, as much as this seems dumb and like a joke, there is a little bit of business insight to pull from this, which is Tesla's ability to come out with something like this, to just make culture out of thin air. And literally, to me, this is what I would call this Cyber Whistle is not a joke, not something dumb. It's profitable marketing. It's a new way to generate attention by being authentic. The Tesla brand is so quirky. It's authentic. It's fun. It just makes you, it's like, ooh, look at this little fun whistle. It's made out of stainless steel. The Cybertruck's made out of stainless steel. It's a new brutalist design. It looks kind of like a whistle. Imagine if we made it into a whistle and used the same material and sold that to our fans to get it while they wait. Like, and it became a cult thing because there's always whistleblowers against Tesla. Like, it's just such a beautiful moment of Tesla owning culture. And Tesla being able to capture the attention of the moment of the internet zeitgeist for free and making money on it. It's not even about the money on the whistle. It's about this paying for itself. The whistle's paying for itself, and they're able to just generate insane free press, but just launching a whistle. How many Cybertrucks did they just sell by selling these whistles? I mean, I'm like, as I'm saying this, I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm also extremely impressed. So, and Tesla, the Cyber Whistle and the Cyber Quad, like, we're kind of in a glory, like, sort of golden age moment for Tesla troll merch right here. Okay, super chat. I'm long Tesla, but we're really screwing routing C4. Okay, this is a really complex question about something I understand, so I'll skip that. But thank you for the super chat. The Cyber Whistle, wow, you guys are killing it in the chat right now. The Cyber Whistle does generate more revenues than Lucid or Rivian. Yeah, ooh, so speaking of Rivian and, I'm so curious what's gonna happen. Should we pull up Rivian stock real quick? I'm so curious what's gonna happen. Oh, and I wanna make a whole episode on the Starship production issues and SpaceX bankruptcy. I don't think we should talk about that now, but I've just been thinking a lot about that, but that's a whole nother video. So here is Rivian stock. Wow. I mean, this is a hell of a case study to follow. So we had the open around 100, which was above the pricing around 70 or 80 bucks, I think. I forget. Shoots to like almost 200, 172. Midday, it was even higher. Now it's coming down with the market, with tech, still valued here at about $100 billion. So I don't know. I think this Rivian, ooh, man. I love to kind of, man, I don't want to gossip and like hurt Rivian, but I am so convinced this is about to be the mega flop of like the market right now. And it's so interesting. On one level, I'm just so skeptical that Rivian will be able to make a profit or just hit any of its targets. They want to deliver 1,000 units by the end of the year. Are they going to hit that? No, it's going to look bad. There's already rumors about production delays. You have the lockup expiring so early investors can liquidate. You have, I don't know, just kind of a combination of, I would say, a lot of bad events happening as you hit through manufacturing hell. So I think Rivian stock is still like an 80% drawdown. And I tweeted a troll tweet, which is I'm a buyer of Rivian at 420, but that's actually the price where I would start buying Rivian, like $4 to $5 billion valuation. But I don't know. It's done surprisingly well. And these initial stocks is kind of a side tangent, but they can pop really hard on the IPO because there's not enough shares to short. So people start shorting it here, but then they start getting squeezed and they start to have to cover, and there's almost no shares that are available to short. So the interest rate to borrow shares to short spikes, and then you sort of have these micro short squeezes that can occur once IPOs happen and sort of accentuate the irrationality of these moves. That's what I believe happened there. Now we're normalizing. Now we're going to start to see Rivian have to post public financials, have to have quarterly conference calls, have to talk about delays, have to face short sellers, planting stories and giving them more scrutiny in the press that trying to affect the equity price. Like, this is going to be a real battle royale to watch. And especially because Tesla's heating up with their marketing of the Cybertruck right at this time. So I think that's super interesting. Okay, let's take some questions. I have a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, so this comment by Why Elon never has to sell any Tesla stock. He could borrow on margin. I think that is so worth exploring, of like, if someone wants to dive into that, like, how much did he borrow against his Tesla stock? What percentage was he? What was that relative to normal? Was he over levered already, or is he truly taking a little bit off the table here? I think that's super duper interesting. And what Elon's saying about SpaceX, I know I'm getting totally off topic here, but and how he's like, he made another tweet recently about SpaceX IPOing and how a lot has changed since he said that SpaceX wouldn't IPO. So now I know I made a video about how Starlink is going to IPO in a year for 70 to 80 billion. I've heard a new rumor, which is from a different source, that Starlink's going to IPO in like 3 years and that SpaceX itself will IPO in like 7 years. So I don't know. I'm just keeping y'all updated because these are the rumors that are bouncing around the VC world of when SpaceX will IPO. So like I try and keep y'all updated because I'm like, okay, if I'm hearing this gossip in the VC world about what SpaceX is doing, like I feel like y'all should know, right? Like, so, okay, so let's talk more about Tesla though, because I think, so I actually have some charts that I want to pull up. Let's see if I can pull these up of Tesla Energy, because I'm really excited about, I wanted to make a whole video, but I just haven't made that video. Okay. Super chat. Do you expect more heat domes in the next year? Like there is zero snowpack to feed California. Ooh, I don't exactly know what that means, but yeah, I just don't know what that means. The quad price to beat Rivian's. Let's see if we have any questions. I don't know. It's very interesting that the Cybertruck has dropped the third model for the quad model. I think there's a lot of switch ups going on in the Cybertruck that we don't know yet. And my personal thing that I'm nerding out about the most is a solar wing deployment. So this is really cool because no EV has really had a option to deploy solar out of it to increase range. But the Cybertruck was supposed to have this. And Elon Musk even tweeted like 30 miles of range a day and 15 miles of added range from solar wings. And ooh, I found it. Okay, this to me is like the coolest, like literally the coolest thing that's happening in the Tesla product. And when Elon says insane technology bandwagon, this is what I'm worried about. So this is what I'm so curious about. Solar powered tonneau cover. So this is going to be solar powered, right? This is already a solar panel that's adding range. That's super dope. Then we get Elon saying this, will be an option to add solar power that generates 15 miles per day, possibly more. Would love this to be self-powered. Adding fold-out solar wings would generate 30 to 40 miles per day. Average miles per day in the US is 30 miles. So he's saying you could literally have your Cybertruck charged from the sun enough to drive it. You may never even need to plug it in if you're driving less than 30 miles a day and you live in a sunny place. This to me is like the holy grail of EV technology. I'm so fascinated by it. And I'm like, this is a kind of a breakthrough moment of EVs where the cost of solar panels, the cost of production, the cost of the battery technology, the cost of the inverter or whatever is all cheap enough to put into that one form factor and have in the Cybertruck. So this is like, okay, Cybertruck, like we know it has 4 motors. We know it can do the crab walk and go diagonally. Like, okay, that's I guess people like that feature. I am way more obsessed about this when you talk about insane technology bandwagon. Will it have a deployable solar ring? First of all, because that's so practical. You're running off sunlight to charge your truck, which can tow an F-150. That's badass. But just how cool would it look if your Cybertruck pulls up to a location and it just, and like you have these little sides, it's like, these solar wings just like pop out of the side of your Cybertruck, start soaking in the sunlight, start charging up your car. I mean, this is just so the holy grail of the sustainable future, especially if you want to camp in your Cybertruck. That I don't know. That's like one of the things that I'm most curious for. And I did get totally sidetracked on this before, but I want to pull up a chart of pickup truck sales in the US, because this pickup truck sales in the Cybertruck, I wonder if we're getting too excited about the Cybertruck, because pickup trucks are insanely well selling, but in the US. So this is autocharts.info, which is an awesome site put together by Mo, who does hypercharts, that just says kind of like automotive sales data. So this is pickup truck sales through the year to date through Q3 of models just in the US. So you can see alone, the Ford F-Series has 500,000 units in the US in 3 quarters. Q4 is going to be their biggest quarter. This could be almost 1 million units. 400K, 400K, 200K, 100K. So the market in the US for the pickup trucks, you know, this is the big question. It's such a new innovative design. Is it, you know, how many people are buying pickup trucks to roll coal, which don't want Cybertrucks? It's electric. It's because it's Tesla. How many people are going to want it because are who never would have bought a truck like the Ford F-Series are going to buy it? So interesting. My personal guess is it's somewhere in between nothing and Ford F-Series. It's going to take a while, and it depends how practical it is for work and how many work-like applications they find for the Cybertruck. If it's autonomous, if it has, that's another big feature of a Cybertruck, like a plug on board, so you can plug in power tools. And maybe that makes it really good for a practical work truck on construction sites, and that drives a lot of demand beyond just people wanting it. So I think there's huge potential here, but I don't know. The Cybertruck, to me, it feels like this is a big, since the Model 3, the Model Y wasn't really a bet for Tesla, right? The Model 3 was a bet for Tesla. It was a bet the company product. We don't hit this. We don't hit scale. We're not profitable. The Model Y was kind of a hole-in-one because they already knew what the Model 3 was. They were like, we're going to adapt, make it a little bigger, you know, do this more segment that's better selling. But the Cybertruck is a way more shot in the dark, way more like it's kind of the same thing right when the Model 3 was about to launch. Like, there's huge demand, there's huge pent-up 2 million of orders, but where do those orders actually, where does the end unit demand per year fall? Because it's so new and it's so innovative, and this is why it's very hard to predict. But I don't know. I think it's going to be around 200,000 to 300,000 units per year in the US alone, and then it'll start expanding from there. And with the amount of pre-orders it has, I think 200,000 a year is kind of like a shoe-in. At like, let's call it $60,000 average selling price for 200,000. I don't even know if that assumes a lot of FSD. That's 12 billion in revenue. So even if they just sell 200,000 units a year, like a quarter of that, that's 12 billion. So this Cybertruck could be a huge needle mover. Although personally, I think the semi-truck is going to be a bigger needle mover, and they've been even more quiet about that. Like the tweet where somebody, the CEO of Pepsi, went on CNBC and said that they were taking deliveries of semi-trucks this year, but then Elon Musk was like, don't read too much into that tweet. So I still think it's going to be a while for the, Tesla semi-truck to hit the market. Probably like a year or two, but I still think this could drive a lot more revenue than even the Cybertruck, frankly. And they're keeping these specs up, but it's interesting to see how Tesla's really waiting till they have it perfect and have this 4680 battery production nailed down to a T before launching these products. Okay. Yeah, look at this dope video of the semi-truck. Okay, any questions to end the live stream? I kind of want to do, I guess the biggest takeaways in my scheme from this live stream was A, Cybertruck is coming. It's been de-risked. It's closer than ever. I think Tesla's in the planning stages of planning out where in that Austin factory they're going to put batteries, they're going to put production, they're going to put that crazy machine to stamp the Cybertruck. Like, this is all happening. It's all coming. It's just going to take another 12 months for them to figure this all out. And maybe there'll be a little bit of production before then, but it's really going to take a long time. And like Elon said, like, Tesla's a perfectionist with their products, and there's an insane technology bandwagon for the Cybertruck, so they're going to wait until they nail that down and really have it working smoothly before they roll this out, because they know this could sell hundreds of thousands of units a year, be a $50 billion product if it works. Do I think Elon is liquidating to fund the Texas Institute of Science by himself? Maybe. I think Elon's mostly liquidating to pay taxes on his options so he can actually increase his stake even more. But okay, any more chat? Will the Cybertruck have a boat feature? I imagine it'll be slightly waterproof, but it won't be like officially certified to be waterproof or go swimming. Cornelius, thanks for the super chat. Is the Tesla Semi secretly Optimus Prime waiting to hitch a ride to Mars on Starship? Wow. I mean, since it's a super chat, I guess I have to answer it. Maybe. I don't know. Did I buy the Bitcoin dip? No. Okay. Exponential. Okay, lots of super chats here that I'm not fully understanding. Yeah, so right now I think the biggest thing for Tesla is figuring out that 4680 cell production, and I think that's why they've been really quiet on the semi-truck, on the Cybertruck, because they're not ready to announce how they're expanding capacity. That's, I think, the crux of Elon Musk's announcement on the next call. And on that Q4 call is going to be, here's how we're doing 4680 expansion. Here's how we figure it out. Our yields up to the point where it's going to be economical to install this equipment and start expanding like crazy. We are doing all of that. And this is the kind of next leg of growth. And this is why it's so interesting. When you think about Tesla, the company, we have Model Y in Berlin and Austin scales us to about 100 billion in revenue. We're at about 14 billion a quarter in revenue right now for Tesla, hypercharge.com/Tesla, right? The best for the Tesla data. So I'm going to pull this up to show y'all. We're about 14 billion a quarter now for Tesla. I think we only need 81% growth to get to 100 billion cars, sell a couple 100,000 more Model Ys a year. I think the Model Y alone takes us to $100 billion in revenue. So right now you look at Tesla, this entity, right? We're at a $1.1 trillion market cap. Wait, how do I go? Okay, $1.1 trillion market cap, 1 trillion. I call it 1.1 with dilution. And we're about a $14 billion business per quarter, right? So $14 billion per quarter right here. Now 81% growth to get to 25 billion a quarter, which is 100 billion. I think this all happens on Model Y. Model Y has been absolutely booming. I think this will keep booming. This isn't official Tesla numbers, just our estimates. 70, 80,000 in Q2, up to 112,000 in Q3, 140, 150,000 next quarter, bam. And Tesla and Elon have said the Model Y will become the best-selling car in the world. I have the Model Y. I got to tell you, this car is unbelievable. If you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe, because I'm about to drop a 10,000 mile plus Model Y review. I've had my Model Y for a year. I've road tripped it all up and down the West Coast. I've had FSD Beta. I never owned a car before. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a tech nerd, and I've never had more conviction in Tesla than after I owned the product and drove it myself. Like, I was a Tesla nerd before I had my Tesla, but now that I have it, I'm like, this product is incredible. The Model Y, they have nailed the form factor for what is the best car in the world. It's got storage. It's fast. Like, I was even like, yo, Dad, I think I got to get the Roadster eventually, right? Like, really be swagging on him. And then I was like, wait, my dad's like, you don't want that. It's not even able to drive in Seattle. It's going to just like get curbed. It's going to be too low. It's not safe enough. You can't fit all your friends. The Model Y is such an unbelievable, just hit the nail on the head of functionality, of performance. It drives like a Ferrari. I'm literally the fastest car on the road except a Tesla, even though I'm like a mini SUV that can fit all my friends, that has high clearance, that's super safe. But it's not too big. It's small enough where I can still drive around a tight city like Seattle with small streets and feel fine. Like, the Model Y is going to be, so when they say it's going to be the world's best-selling product, like, I'm so on board with that. But that's going to take us to 100 billion. Tesla at 1.1 trillion. You're buying this Model Y company that's maybe pumping out 2 billion in earnings last quarter with 14 billion. Let's call it 4 billion in earnings, a doubling in earnings with that 81% revenue growth. 4 billion in earnings a quarter. That's 16 billion a year for $1 trillion entity. That's like an 80 times price EBIT ratio based on them just scaling a Model Y for 100 billion. So I'd say you're buying them for way more than that, right? You're buying them for a little FSD software margin expansion, but really you're buying them for that Cybertruck, that Tesla Semi, that next wave of growth that after Model Y crushes it and we hit to 100 billion, maybe 120 billion if I'm being generous with just Model Y, how do we get to 250 billion? How do we get to 300 billion in revenue to justify, 1.5 to 2 trillion in market cap? That's where I'm really curious, and that's where it all boils down to this 4680 development into the semi-truck, into the Cybertruck, and how many units they can sell and how fast they can scale those. So I think it's going to be hard. Like, look, like, this isn't like Zoom in the pandemic that just prints more software licenses with the press of a button and has more code just replicate at 100% margin, scales instantly. This isn't an NFT EV that you can just mint endlessly that's already produced. Like, Tesla literally has to build factories, machines. Like, we've almost their growth has been so quick and so impressive that we've given them the benefit of the doubt of future growth, despite it being incredibly excruciatingly difficult to scale an in-house vertically integrated manufacturing product at 50% a year, especially at this scale, which they keep wanting to do. So I think there's a lot of room for executional disappointment for Tesla shareholders at this price if they're not understanding just that this isn't software. This is, all that. Okay, Tesla Energy. Super chat, Hyperchange Tesla Daily Limiting Factor Weekly Podcast. Wow. I mean, I'm subscribing to that. Nah, I should definitely collab with both those guys like ASAP. So I will get on that. But yeah, so mega packs too. Maybe this is an interesting point to end it. Like the whole mega packs thing. Okay, the Tesla Energy thesis. Okay, so where's my Tesla Energy slides? Let me pull those up. It's a good place to end it. Okay, I'm gonna take y'all behind the scenes of Hyperchange right now. So this is my random. This is my like slide deck where I like make all the slides for Hyperchange. Like we're super independent. Like I'm making all the slides. This is my slides for Starlink, by the way. Starlink subscribers and revenue, which I was gonna put in another video. I don't even know if I did. Anyway, this is Tesla Energy. Tesla Energy, to me, this is a lot of the X factor because when we think about the TAM of the company, can they get this to take off? 808 million last quarter, 806 million, a record last quarter. To me, with the Megapack factory, this goes into overdrive. So 806 million. Or no, that's Q4. Oh, I projected 806, same number as Q4. Then we have 2.9. So this is the last 3 years. So Tesla Energy has finally bounced back and returned to growth. And so these are my projections for 2021, almost 3 billion in revenue, and finally some nice growth. So accelerating too. This is the key part. They went from flat for a couple years as Solar City transitioned. They went away from leasing. They went into batteries. The solar scaled down. They're working on Solar Roof. Took a hit to the top line to focus on this next generation of the technology. Now, because Megapack's going, because they don't have the tough comps, we're seeing that growth accelerate, and I think that continues. I think in next year, we go 65% growth, almost 5 billion with the help of mainly the Megapack factory. So this is going to be super, super interesting to watch next year as all this other stuff happens. Model Y to 100 billion, Cybertruck, semi-truck, FSD Beta. I mean, the amount of stuff that's going on with Tesla is insane, but I think underlying all that is the acceleration of the energy revenue's top line. So this is the battery deployments, right? Quarterly battery deployments. Now, this has become the driving force of Tesla Energy, not just the solar panels. So that's why the top line growth is going to follow the growth of this battery segment, because now it's become the majority of this energy revenue. So this behind the scenes, underneath the gap statements of transitioning from solar leading energy to batteries is really, really important, because to me, the solar has not really gone 0 to 1 yet. They can't figure out how to install the solar roof fast enough for this to be a $100 billion product yet. They'll get there. Batteries, they've figured out how to 0 to 1 this to a $50 to $100 billion product line. Now it's the fun part. It's just off to the races. So this is what I think is happening. This is the batteries deployed, but I think that the batteries will drive 65% growth in energy revenue next year to this level. So that's kind of my silver lining, besides everything else that's going on with Tesla. And so also interesting context here, like I've been invested in Tesla for like almost 10 years at this point, covering them forever. It has never gotten harder to cover Tesla. Like I am like, I used to, a couple years ago, I would feel like my pulse was just like on Tesla. Like I was like, I know what they're doing. I know exactly what's happening, what the quarterly deliveries are. But there was one factory. That was Fremont. It was just Fremont gossip. Now it's Fremont gossip, Shanghai gossip, Berlin gossip, Austin gossip, FSD gossip, energy gossip, Cybertruck gossip, Model Y gossip. Like Tesla bot going on, AI, Dojo, the expansion of, it's just, I'm like in my brain as an investor and analyst, keeping up with Tesla has never been more complicated or harder, because this company is doing so much so quickly. So in my head, I'm like, as a fanboy, I'm like, I kind of love that. I'm like, wow, like Tesla's outgrowing what I can even keep up with as one person, because of the amount of, one factory that's already still expanding, Fremont, and now we have 4 of them, just instantly. Now we have this crazy software component. So it's going crazy. I love someone saying, how many shares do you have, Gally? I'm holding all of my Tesla shares, all of them. I love it. There's a chance I'm going to have to sell like Tesla, a little bit of crypto. Like I'm for taxes, essentially, I'm gonna have to like haircut everything in my portfolio. So really not like hyped for that, but that would be the only reason I have to sell Tesla. Like I'm so bullish on this company. And I think $1 trillion is just a number. Like this $1 trillion market cap, it's so big. Elon's selling, like no company's, 10 trillion, like $1 trillion is just a number. No company was $1 trillion a couple of years ago. Now Apple's almost 3 trillion and they're not even growing. And I haven't even bought the new iPhone. We all know they're not even innovating. They're still worth 3 trillion. Like $1 trillion is just a number. Inflation's at 6%. Like to me, the biggest thing about Tesla and like my biggest lesson from taking away from Tesla is the optionality of upside of the greatest inventor of our generation, Elon Musk, of this incredible business model of saying winners keep winning, of saying the next new great thing will be bigger than the last old great thing. The next Apple is bigger than Apple. Apple was the next Microsoft or whatever, and it was big and now it's bigger. The next thing is always bigger. So when you find these winners, let them run. Like I know so many people who I love this saying, like they water their weeds. Like you hold on to your losers because you want it to go back up, but you sell your winners. So you're watering your weeds and you're cutting your flowers. So not against that. To me, Tesla it's $1 trillion. It seems big. It seems like doesn't have much growth left. We are so early, and at least their product roadmap. I don't know about the financials, but I just think $1 trillion is just a number. And just personally as an investor, I've had to put less weight on the fact that it's $1 trillion company and more just on like, what's the cash flow last quarter? Trillions or not, what's the intrinsic value here? What's the upside? What's the TAM? Tesla bot, Cybertruck. So that's kind of been helping me feel more comfortable holding on to Tesla equity despite this sort of crazy thing. And especially when I think about like the idea of like Bitcoin's worth $1 trillion, ETH is worth almost $500 billion, Tesla and ETH and Bitcoin kind of all in the same ballpark. I'm like, to me, these are all $10 trillion assets plus in the future. And if anything, I think Tesla's the most important of all them. Because it's just like real world energy, cryptocurrencies suck if we don't have green energy that can power them. So in many ways, the world of Tesla and cryptocurrency, which is crazy to me, are so intertwined more than you'd ever think. And especially the fact, now I'm just getting on all the weird schemes, that Starlink is going to allow so many more people to connect to the internet. And I think will single-handedly be a catalyst for cryptocurrency adoption. That's just crazy that ties in too. Oh, ARK constantly selling Tesla. They're just rebalancing. Okay, any more questions? I've been going for a while. This has been so fun, by the way. I just wanted to catch up and give you all my thoughts on Tesla. Like, we got to keep the conversation going. I'll definitely have some more awesome Tesla guests on soon. Let me know in the comments who you want me to collab with in the Tesla universe. And yeah, we'll make it happen. I have an epic new video about Starship production, SpaceX, that I'm working on, my 10,000 mile Model Y review. That's it right now. And kind of just still thinking through FSD beta. Like I would say this is the biggest toss up that I have at Tesla. It's like, will they figure out the self-driving car? Are we really going forward at the rate that we need to with FSD? Or is it just going to be a long, hard road that even Tesla doesn't see the end of yet? I just think that's so fascinating. Anyway, this is Hyperchange. Cybertruck is coming. The clues are heating up. Elon's about to be on the Q4 call. This is going to be epic. I'm covering the Q4 call. Like if you're watching and you're not subscribed, like subscribe already. I love y'all. Shout out to the Hyperchange Patreons, patreon.com/hyperchange. I'm working on a new newsletter for y'all. Just independent. Love that y'all support the show and I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for all the super chats. This was dope. Loved hanging out. See you next time. And I read all your comments. So if you missed the live stream, you want to scheme on something, you have a new video for an idea, you have a new conspiracy theory moonshot for Tesla, let me know in the comments below and we'll catch up on it. I'm trying to think if I have like one crazy Tesla conspiracy theory that I could like make the end of live stream worth it. Maybe this Bitcoin thing, the way that Bitcoin mining, and they were thinking about more crypto products and basically integrating Bitcoin mining at the solar farm utility scale battery level. I would still be looking out for that because that was a really good theory and we haven't seen a move made on that yet, but I think we will eventually. This is Hyperchange. Love y'all. Have a great weekend. Peace.